What's good, guys? It's your boy CS. I'm going to take a look at the charts for you guys and see where we are because it has been a volatile day today. So let's start with our good granddad Bitcoin. Let's zoom out, see where we're at, and see where we're going. So spider line chart, historically, as I've always said, great support and resistance zones, has already bounced off the support zone earlier this week. Has also hit the Fibonacci level of 0.786 and has bounced off that. If we actually look on the EMA, it coincides with the 20 EMA. And on one of my charts earlier, which I gave to everyone, I basically said, there's a cluster here. And I always say to people, when we're looking at clusters, it's very, very difficult for us to bounce, to go through it, to impulse move right through it on the very first try. And so that's the same EMA ribbon on the daily. As you can see here, there was a turquoise and orange. So the 50 and 100 EMA ribbons were acting as a line of resistance. And that's a very harsh line of resistance as well, because we tried to flip the 20 EMA, which would have been really, really positive if we were able to make an impulse move up. And additionally, within the 4 hour, not only did we reject the 200 EMA a second time, we rejected so heavily, we actually ended up back to square one. So we actually ended up below the 100, the 50 and the 20 EMA, which is now just closed. Obviously, the next 4 hours are very pertinent. So this could change everything. Things could drastically change in the next 4 hours because I always like to see a couple of 4 hour candle closes to determine actually where the trend is going. As I did mention, if you are bearish or you are looking for a bearish entry, what we would want to see is here. Let me see if I can zoom out. We're in this 4 hour trend. Now, I've mentioned this on the previous video where I did say, look, it's like a bearish flag or a rising wedge pattern. What that usually means is that all these longs are going to get trapped. And once we come out and we close outside this yellow support line and we have like a retest there, then the confirmation is we're due to go down to pretty hefty levels, actually. We could break 57,382 and actually end up here at 55, which was the target I initially gave. So, yeah, Bitcoin's got quite a big job on its hands at the moment, as a bearish standpoint anyway. However, as I always mention to people, just because this is closed on the 4 hourly right now, outside of the 20 and the 50 EMA, doesn't actually negate the fact that this could just close above it in the next 4 hours. So by 9 o'clock UK time, this could very well end up here. In terms of the grander scheme of things, so if we zoom out on this one, which is our, well, you could say it's a bullish flag, or a descending wedge, right? We've now bounced off here 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And so what a lot of people are looking for is for us to go and test this now. Once we've gone and test that part at around 65k, 65, 66k, we'll then know if we can finally break it or not. And we'd have to do the retest as we normally do, and then trade the retest, which is like that, and then that. So that's the bullish sentiment that we're looking at. Right now, the candle currently is not looking good, I'll be honest with you. So it is very much bearish if we go back to the other chart. But like I said, the 4 hours just started. We're only going down, which kind of means that there might be room to go up, and this might look like a hammer formation. It really just depends how Bitcoin finishes. On the 1 hour, we actually rejected the 200 and the turquoise EMA, so going to the lower time frames, and we're now bouncing off this trend line. And this is where Bitcoin needs to find support if it wants to stay within this pattern. Because it is, like I said, it's either a rising wedge or a channel. A channel means that it'll conform to the channel, and that means it'll take us up higher. So it'll take us up to like the 62K region if we bounce off here successfully. But right now, Bitcoin is finding it quite difficult to hold these levels, which actually is a bit surprising, because if we look at the S&P, the SPX, this is doing fine. This is actually doing really well today. It's bounced off the 50 and the 20 EMA as support. So it's actually got one daily close so far above it. And really, it's made a great recovery if you look on the weekly. So in actuality, you'd think that Bitcoin, as it normally does, correlate to the SPX. It should, in theory, go up. So this could be a potential fake out. Potentially. It could be trapping bears, because they are so heavily linked. It's very surprising to see that this risk on asset, which is classified as Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, for it to ultimately get nuked like this in a single candle like this. It's very, very odd and very bizarre, but that's just how the cookie crumbles ultimately. And in terms of the tether, this was something that I mentioned to Reese actually, which is it bounced off the 20 EMA as support. And I think last week on the candle close, we got two candle closes above the 5.63% region. And now we're currently above it right now. We're at 5.65%. It only needs to close over the turquoise line for it to really have us testing 6.17% again, which would send us, like I said, to 55K. That's where this USDT tether dominance chart will take us. Hence why I've put this as a potential question mark. Is this where we're going to end up? And it's something to be wary of. As I did mention, this works inversely to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes down, this goes up, and vice versa. But like I said, the most surprising correlation is this, which is the SPX is actually going up. It's not going down. So could this, in theory, be a smokescreen for Bitcoin to actually go up? And like it is doing now, it's making a headway. It's making a push right now. And so these are things that we just need to be aware of, because if it is directly correlative, it should move, in theory, with the SPX. As for other alts, I don't really need to go into alts too much, because we really need to concentrate on Bitcoin here. But, resistance stock at the start of the day, I'm pretty sure was up around 17%. Yeah, it was around here, like 18, 20%. And now it's only up 2%. So a lot of coins have got absolutely smashed. And Ponki's within the same region as well, getting hammered. Casper was up like 6-7% on the day. And a few other coins were doing really, really well. And we did put in a cheeky long, as I did say. I'm only putting in a bit and a tight stop loss, because I wanted to see if the news would actually push us up. It didn't in our case. And so we now wait for our entries. If this were to get nuked again, this is where I'm looking for an entry on Brett. If it gets nuked further, it would coincide with this falling wedge pattern, which would end up here. So around 0.62 to 0.062 to 0.067. And that's where I'd be looking, and I've put buy limits in if we were to go and nuke that far. I'm not saying that's even on the cards here. We have to determine what happens with Bitcoin at the end of the day, because what happens with Grandad happens to all the other coins. But so far, doing well. I've already drawn this kind of flag pattern, because if Bitcoin does this kind of move over the next day or two, it means that we'll basically break through, and it's just trapping all the bulls here that think we're going to go full on Valhalla. And it's again a place where, if you haven't DCA'd in on spot, this is a good place. If you're using leverage, be careful. But one thing I was going to say in terms of more of a bullish thesis is this 58K region. Can you see all this region here? If I just get rid of that arrow now. This right here as a cluster has been really, really strong for Bitcoin. And as you can see here, the 4-hourly closed here, but there's more support here, and then there, and then there, and then there. Can you see where the body, the hollow body candle closes? So here, at 59,358, if I draw horizontal lines, you'll probably see it there. And then you've got another one there. These are all support zones, albeit local support zones. There's still support zones. All of these are support zones on the 4-hourly. And if we checked actually on the daily, I guarantee you some of them will be daily resistances. So if we went on the daily, it's probably the last one actually. I'm going to have to get rid of them all. But as you can see on the 4-hourly, they've actually been holding up pretty well. But if I go on the daily, well, yeah, it coincides with my the one that I've got currently, 58.7K. So look, we've bounced off there already, and that's a good daily support zone. Do you see where I'm going with it? So again, there's arguments for being bearish and arguments for being bullish. At the moment, let's just see where the next couple of 4-hourly to 1-hourly candle closes, because right now having a bit of trouble, and it's already just got rejected. It's got 1, 2, 3 closes so far on the 1-hourly. We've only got one 4-hourly close of the 20 and 40 EMA. In 3 hours and 47 minutes, this could well be up here, or it could well be up down here. But it's always good to watch out in the 4-hourlies to know where we're at. If we're down here, we're breaking structure. You see, we're breaking that channel, that rising wedge. Alternatively, if we're pumping up here, well, Bitcoin's giving a message saying bulls are taking the control back. So that's where we're at the moment, guys. Just keep an eye on things. Smaller time frames, yeah, are good and stuff like that, but all the levels are there that I've pointed out to, and we'll just keep an eye on it. So stay safe, and I'll catch you.